From CBS News, it's The Early Show.
First, though, we want to bring you more on today's official end of the Iraq War. As we mentioned earlier, more than 1 million U.S. troops served in Iraq. Nearly 4,500 were killed, 32,000 wounded. And as President Obama declares the war over, a different kind of battle is just beginning for the troops who are coming home. Joining us now, Paul Rieckhoff, who's founder and executive director of Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. Paul, always good to talk with you. Thanks for being with us this morning.
My pleasure. Good morning.
As you watch this, as you watch the events unfold this morning, the official handoff, what is it like for you to watch that?
It's sobering. It's reflective. I think it's very emotional for those of us who've served and our families. I think we think a lot about the folks we've lost. You know, in my unit, it was Christmas Eve 2003 when we lost Sergeant Major Eric Cook to an IED attack. So we're reflective. We're thinking deeply about the time we served, and we're also just, you know, happy to have our friends coming home. Our families are extremely happy to be spending the holidays with so many folks who've served so much. So it's a really historic time, but a time for a lot of introspective conversations and a lot of deep talk.
Some of those conversations, some of that deep talk involves everybody coming home. A wonderful time for it to happen at the holidays, of course. Yet, vets are facing many challenges, as are their families when they get home. What do you think the biggest hurdle is for American servicemen and women as they come home and they try to get back to quote-unquote normal?
Well, right now, the biggest challenge that our members face is unemployment. We see about a 20% unemployment rate for our members nationally. In some states like Michigan, it's over 30%. So I think what's important for folks to realize is that, yes, the war is over, but the battles continue. Our veterans are coming home from serving multiple tours, and they're coming home to the toughest economy in decades. So our message for folks around the holidays is we really need you to step up and support our veterans. Don't turn the page on Iraq just because they've pulled out. And remember that a great thing you can do is hire a vet. They're dynamic, they're strong, they're incredible leaders, and they can help here at home just like they've helped overseas.
And there are programs that the government has launched to help push for that, to help push for hiring more vets. We should point out, too, though, that for some of these folks, they're coming home, but there is still plenty of activity happening in Afghanistan, and they could be sent over there.
Yeah, that's a part of the new normal for our military folks. I mean, more than 1 million of them have served more than once. They continue to redeploy. And we're also extremely concerned about the rising suicide rate. Last month in the Army, there were over 29 active duty suicides just in the Army alone. So there's tremendous mental health stress. There's a real family stress that continues year over year, and that's not going to go away with this new announcement.
The divorce rate is also one of the highest in more than 10 years, I read recently. As they come back, as vets come back and do try to re-assimilate, to get back into family life, what is the most difficult part there for them? I mean, what do they need when they come home?
Well, I think they need a whole community of support. They need a job. They need mental health support. They need family counseling sometimes. And they just need the entire community to really rally around them. We're really concerned as a veterans group that America's just going to move on. They're going to close the page and forget about us. And what we need all Americans to do right now is double down their efforts. Don't let us repeat the mistakes of Vietnam. Support your community-based nonprofits that are helping. Step up and support veterans groups. Volunteer in your community. No matter how you feel about the war, we can all rally around these folks coming home, and that'll set us all up for success.
And that's been a really important message, I would say, even since the start of the Iraq War, no matter how you felt about it, how important it was to support the troops both here and at home, which has been a nice change. Talk to me about one of the positives that you've seen in terms of how people are helping veterans when they do come home.
You know, I think we have turned the page on Vietnam in the respect that we've learned to separate the people from the policy. We have learned to separate the war from the warriors. What Vietnam vets came home to was so different than what we came home to, and that was a real national embarrassment. So I think we've turned that page, and now we see people supporting us in every way at the local level, and that's a good step forward. We've got to keep up that momentum, and we've got to try to make every day Veterans Day. That's our goal at IAVA, and I think that should be the goal for all Americans, not just around holiday times, but for the next few years as these struggles continue.
A great sentiment. Make every day Veterans Day. Paul Rieckhoff, always a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
At 35 minutes past